Hi everyone. First of all, happy 2022. I wish health, happiness, and abundance for you and everyone around you for 2022. I'm going to share with you my exercise that I do on an annual basis and to get closure with the old year and set my intentions for the new year. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly walk you through 13 questions, and I promise that at the end of it you will have closure and you will have a sense of knowing what's waiting for you in 2022 and how you can take control as much as possible. So basically what you need is a pen and paper and at least 30 minutes of your time. I suggest that you pause this video every time there has been a question so you can do some reflections and write it down. Personally, I think it's best to have like loose paper because eventually we're going to do something with the paper, or just use paper that you can kind of rip out of your book. So here we go. I'm trying to do this as fast as possible. So first question you need to ask yourself for 2021 is, what were your wins? And by wins, I mean the stuff that you were proud of. So it can be that you dealt with a tricky situation, or you put boundaries around some of the stuff, or you went on some fun activities or whatever. So what are your wins? And basically stop this video right now. I'm not going to say it every time, but I'll say it the first time. The second question is, looking at your wins, what are actually the lessons that you have learned from those wins? And take some time to write down these lessons. So knowing what your wins are, knowing what the lessons are, just reflect a little on what those wins have made possible for you now, and now as in 2022. And then we'll go to your losses. What were the things that you were frustrated about and upset about? So maybe you started something that you didn't finish, maybe you felt that you failed at something, or your marriage ended. But just take some time to reflect on what you consider losses. And then, again, what are the lessons that you have learned from these losses? It's always the expression, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but I personally really like the idea of something happens to you and it's something that's upsetting for you. You can either grow bitter or you can grow better. Everything that happens to us is there to show us a lesson. So what are your lessons regarding these losses? So is there anything that you are still holding on to from 2021 that is taking up space, either mental, emotional, or physical space? And just take some time to reflect on that. Then, are you willing to let go of things that no longer serve you? And so this is not a judgment, it's just a question and just a going inside of yourself and think about, am I willing to let go of this as it no longer serves me? Maybe the answer is yes, maybe the answer is no. If the answer is no, just sit with that and just really try to identify that what's actually holding you back of not being able to let go of that. And then the next question is, what does it take for you to feel at peace with 2021? So these were a whole bunch of questions that you had to answer and write down. The idea is that you take the paper and everything you wrote, you can do whatever you want, but one of the great things to release that and to put it into the universe and let it be the past, and see that it is behind you and it's no longer bothering you, or at least you're working towards the fact that it won't be bothering you anymore, is that you burn it. You can also just shred it in 1,000 pieces, but some people say to me, no, Tilan, I just want to keep it, as because I like to keep everything. So whatever it is you want to do, but that is kind of the closure for 2021. Because if you can be at peace with 2021, we can move forward to the new year, to all the stuff that is going to happen, and still we're not sure what is going to happen, but we can just take a peek in that. So we've left 2021 behind and we're now going into 2022. So what of the wins from 2021 do you want to take into 2022? So think about that and list them. Then the next question is, what do you want to focus on in 2022? I wouldn't write down too many things, and if it's easier for you, you can even chop it up in like the first 3 months I want to focus on this, or and then I want to focus on that. But don't make it too overwhelming. But it is serious stuff, and it is the law that where your focus goes, your energy flows. So it is, if you really focus on something and if you commit to that and you really dedicate yourself to it, as you would commit to something like making sure that your child has food on the table, or commit to taking care of a pet, or commit to taking care of your parents, or whatever your situation is. I'm talking about that level of commitment, like come what may, you'll do it. You will see that things will grow. So what do you want to focus on in 2022? Then what needs to happen to make 2022 an extraordinary year for you? Now, some people say, what does it take to make it the best year ever? I don't really believe in the best year and to rate things as this was my second best year or whatever. But what would it take to make it an extraordinary year for you? And then what a lot of people do is use a word. So maybe you don't come up with this word right away when you do this exercise. Maybe you need to kind of let it simmer in your brains a few days, and maybe you'll come up with a word in 2 or 3 days. But is there one specific word that you could keep in the front of your brain, put on your mobile phone, or just remind you that that's the word that I want to use for this year? And then every time you do things, or every day, you create that awareness and you make sure that you focus on that word. So what's your word? And then once you've chosen a word, or you've chosen what it takes to make it an extraordinary or special year, then just sit with the thought of, what will that take from me? How will I have to show up in 2022 on a daily basis to make that happen? And this is again about making the decision to be conscious, to be present, to be in the moment. And we can't always be in the moment, but if we can't, then just to make sure that at some point in your day, maybe in the evening, maybe in the morning, or maybe whenever, that you think about it. You think about your word, and you think about, did I show up today in alignment with what I wanted to do? And if not, don't chastise yourself and think like, oh my gosh, I'll never get this. But just be aware of it and just see, what can I do differently next time? So it's really about coaching yourself. And so one action step That's the last one. One action step that you can commit to today. So you've spent 10 minutes now on this video. So what is it you can walk away with? What is it you can commit to and hold yourself accountable to that? So that was this exercise about closure of the old year and bringing in the new year. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me, tilan@tilanlagierse.com, and find me somewhere on social media. I'm the only person with this name in the world. So I hope this was useful, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this exercise. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day.